Hello and welcome to Texans Talk Money. I'm Kyla, your host and a peer financial coach at Texan Smart. Every episode, we will be joined by another peer financial coach from my office, where we will be navigating all the roads on how to handle your money as a college student. So sit back and get your wallets ready to be Texan Smart. Hey y'all, welcome back. I hope everybody's doing well.
Welcome back to Texans Talk Money. If you didn't know what you clicked on, that is what you clicked on.
Thank you for listening in. And today I guess we should introduce ourselves again. I'm Kyla.
And I am Kaiton.
And today we have a guest.
I'm Bryson.
He is one of our PFCs that we have brought in from our office to join us on today's episode to make it a little more fun than just the two of us, even though we're a blast.
Yep. I know you've been on one episode before, but can you, just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself again?
Yeah, so again, my name is Bryson, and I've been with Texan Smart for a little over a year now. And so basically what my job is in the fall, I host Money Management Boot Camp, which is basically kind of like a seminar. It was like a seminar last year. This year we're going to change it up to be more like sports themed, stuff like that. And then in the spring, I focus more on a bingo. We have a financial literacy vocabulary bingo that we play on campus. And so that's what my job is in the office.
Cool beans.
Well, thank you for coming on to today's episode. And I guess we can just kind of get right into our little question segment that we've started to do for each of the episodes this semester.
Go for it.
And the question we have today ties in greatly with what we're going to be talking about in the episode today. It is, how do I not make student loans feel stressful?
That is a big burden to bear. Like, student loans are stressful as it is. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to break them down.
I personally, a way that I make it feel less stressful for myself is I always keep track of where my student loans are at. I keep track of how much interest I've incurred on the loan. Right now, it's more than I'd like it to. I probably should have paid some interest off by this point so that the interest doesn't make interest on itself. But
for real,
just knowing that the money or how much money you have in loans can really give you an ease of mind. Don't be blind. Like, don't go into it blind, because whenever you graduate and you see that bill for how many student loans you have to pay back and how much you have to pay back, being in the know beforehand is a lot more easy on your conscience, I guess.
Yes. I know I make, not a plan. I don't know how to explain it, but I keep track of when my loan payments are going to hit, because I try to pay on them, I should say, as I go throughout the college experience. So I keep a little bit of a calendar, I guess is the word, of when certain payments are going to hit, just so that way I'm not so taken aback when that large sum of money jumps out of my bank account.
Yep. How about you, Bryson? What do you do? Or is there anything that you do?
Yeah, so for my student loans, I kind of keep track of everything, kind of like what you were saying, Kyla. I got to know where that money's going, and I got to know where that money came from. So for me, a lot of times, I'll get money back from the school for my student loans, and so I don't count that as my money. And I think that's what really, we'll jump into it later in the podcast, but I think that's really what gets a lot of people in trouble, is that, they get a paycheck, in January to pay for their school, and it's going to other expenses like going out or whatever. And that's what gets people in trouble, and that's what keeps them, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars after they graduated college. But, on the month-to-month basis of paying my loans, I just went with the simplest. I just pay a little bit at a time just to build interest, like you said also, and just to keep that cash flow going.
Yep. Yeah. Having those little routines can definitely help. Is like being in the know. Having those routines, knowing whenever you're going to pay everything back. I know you say, are y'all both paying back student loans right now while y'all are in school, or y'all waiting till after graduation to start paying back? Or what kind of loans do y'all? I mean, if it's not prying, do y'all do through
Sally Mae?
Okay,
Sally Mae, she's my girl. She gives me a lot of money, and so there's a choice you can pay. You can pay a monthly while you're in school, and basically what it does is it just keeps your overall a lot lower, your interest rates a lot lower, because you're already paying on it. You can wait until after you graduate to start paying, but it's a night and day difference if you start paying before. And I think I only pay like $130 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's something so cheap now that's going to save me so much money in the future.
That's smart.
So I am blessed that my parents are going to help me pay for some of my loans while I'm in school. So like I said, mine get paid off, not paid off, but paid on periodically throughout the year. Just while I'm in college, my parents and I kind of both go hand in hand to put in a couple $100 max, like just to kind of keep that down a little bit, like you said, because it keeps after college a lot less intense of a number.
Yep. I know right now I'm doing the ones through FAFSA. It was the easiest ones for me to do. I'm waiting till after graduation, and I might be waiting till after grad school to start paying them back, just depending on what my financial situation is looking like and whenever I need to start paying back interest, so that I don't have like $100,000 sitting there waiting for me to pay it back by the time I'm like 24, 25.
I feel like that's what a large number of people do, though, like tend to wait until they're after, because while you're in college, if you have a job, you tend to not be making a whole bunch of bank while you're in school.
Very true. Very true.
No, there's definitely a lot of advantages to going both ways, but you know, for the plan I'm on is my credit builds every month too, based on it. So I'm already going to be coming out of college with good credit, along with all my previous credit, and that's just, like I said, that small number, just to, you know, take the advantage for it later.
And I guess that jumps us right into our kind of the first topic of our main episode topic. So today we're going to be talking about student loans, obviously.
If you didn't catch our drift.
But we're just going to be talking about our personal experiences with student loans and what we've learned for them to try to spread the knowledge. I mean, we're 20-year-olds. We're in the same boat as you with student loans, and we want to offer as much knowledge as we can, especially having the experiences of being peer financial coaches and having that research behind us and those certifications behind us to be able to provide you with a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of personal experience, all that fun stuff. But what Bryson was saying was there's definitely advantages to having student loans. People can find them very scary and very daunting, because it's like you're taking out chunks and chunks of money to pay for something that maybe you don't see so clearly an investment in, but you can see an investment in if you want to.
That's a lot of money to owe the government.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to build off what I was talking about credit. And so a lot of college students don't even have credit cards tied to their name nowadays. And so an important thing that you can't really do anything without is a credit score. And so when I was talking about building credit and, you know, off your student loans, if you pay, like for me, I pay $130 a month. If you're never late on that payment and that's the only thing you're paying on, no truck payment, no house payment, whatever you're able to do, I mean, my credit score is already like a 760 just based on that alone. That's awesome. And that's just using your student loans to your advantage, and, you know, taking the risk of trying to make $160, $150 a month while you're in school, which isn't that hard if you find the right job.
Yep.
I know an advantage that I lean into is the fact that you have a choice to take all or part of your student loan. I tend to try and only take exactly what is going to cover my credit hours for that semester and exactly what I need to cover housing and things like that. And that tends to be, like I said, an advantage for me, because that keeps me from going under in complete student loan debt.
Yep. I know something that it's, I guess, a visionary thing in a way, the way I see the advantages of student loans. And our boss has talked to us about this before. But seeing the investments that you get with student loans.
Yes.
You're investing in an education that will probably give you a degree that will put you maybe 20 grand higher than people who might not have that degree.
Absolutely.
You're putting yourself in another financial gain bracket. You're opening a lot more opportunities for yourself, job-wise, career-wise. You have so many doors open, and those student loans are just another way to open those doors for you, especially someone like me, I couldn't pay for college straight out of pocket if I wanted to. Just not a possibility for me. So student loans allow me to have that investment into my education. And as somebody who's going after her master's, it's a huge like advantage for me to see that investment in my student loans.
Absolutely.
I agree. I know there are lots of mistakes, though, that we tend to make with student loans. I'm sure us included. We're human. Things happen. Kind of tying back to what I previously said, a mistake I see and hear about all the time is taking more than you need. And that leads to so many issues because they take more than they need, and therefore you have this extra money, like Bryson was saying, and you get a return check. And now you're going to go spend this check because you're like, oh, free money. But you still owe that money to the government.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Do not tie that money to your personal funds. I mean, I've seen it firsthand, that it might be easy seeing, an extra $5K go in your bank account that, you ain't got to send back to, for me, Sally Mae immediately. But man, does that money go? Especially when you can use it in so many different ways.
But there are ways you can use it to
Absolutely.
like pay for maybe outside of those school things.
Yeah, that is not to say to not take it all if that is not going to benefit you. My comment was more just, if you don't have to, don't take it all.
Yes. It's less money you have to pay back.
Exactly.
Of course. I know something that I've failed to do with my student loans is, I think I mentioned this earlier, is not paying my interest back while I'm in school. As somebody who has like a very set budget, it's just not in my personal spending time right now to be able to pay back those interests in my personal finances right now. And it makes it, it's something I probably should be doing, if we're being honest, but
Life happens.
it's just something that's not working for me right now.
We're still young and a little bit inexperienced. That's the word.
But my advice to you through this is to, if you have it in your budget, go pay back that interest, maybe even a little bit. Maybe go pay back $20 on it or something. Just go pay back a little bit.
Because those pennies and interest turn into dollar bills.
Exactly.
I know that, like we said, you can use it for more than that. So while there are mistakes made, sometimes taking all of that, you can use it for other things. I've seen lots of my friends use it for things like groceries and even to cover some of their rent if they need that, if they're living off campus. I know it's kind of for school, but books and supplies, those add up.
Those expenses that you have to have while you're in school, that's something you can definitely use your student loans for. Like maybe not going out on a Saturday night.
Absolutely.
Maybe not go to the bar or something like that. It's probably not something you should be spending your student loan money on. But like if you got to go pick up a bill of groceries, like have a little bit of ease of mind with yourself, a little grace with yourself whenever you're using your student loans for something like that.
Absolutely.
100%.
And what I do is, so I pay rent. I'll pay rent with my student loans. I don't pay my utilities. I pay my utilities out of whatever I make. And so what I do every month, or what I do every semester, is I know exactly how much my rent's going to be for that whole semester. So 5 months, 4 months, whatever it is. And I take that and I set that aside. So I automatically know how much is going to be coming out of my student loans. And I set a certain dollar amount and was like, okay, I have a whole separate bank account. I know this account cannot drop under this within reason. Then you have books that sometimes run way too expensive. And then,
Absolutely.
Groceries, I always try to pay for groceries under my, my paycheck, but, sometimes it doesn't work that way. So having an idea before you go into your semester of what it should look like at the end of the semester will keep you on track. If you're like, okay, this bank account needs to have $2,000 in it at the end of the semester. Well, if you have one month's left of rent, if you have one rent payment left for that semester and you're at, $2,800 and you pay $800 a month, then you're on that right track. And then you can see it visually. It's like budgeting, any other way, but it's kind of more on a bigger scale. That way you're not wasting money because it's easy to spend money that you're not looking at.
Yes. And if you have issues, if you get that refund check from your student loans and you have issues, maybe not sure how to allocate this money, that's what we're here for. Come see us at our office. We would love to help you, like, budget yourself out for the semester. Like, we can help you allocate rent from your student loan refund, or how to pay for groceries every month, having like a spending schedule for yourself instead of like just going all willy-nilly about it, you know?
Yes, if you're going to make this last year's semester and use it for other things, you have to make sure you know what you have available to you and what you have to pay and things like that. Just like Bryson said, sometimes having 2 separate bank accounts. I know I have a Tarleton account and a checking account. So my Tarleton account pays for books. The refund check goes in there to pay for books, tuition, things like that. And then my checking is whatever my paycheck comes into. And that's what goes in there to pay for groceries and utilities and things like that. So that's kind of a way I quote unquote budget my student loans in order to kind of keep myself on track for the semester. I don't know about y'all, what y'all kind of do for that.
Absolutely. I think it gets a lot of people in trouble too. Like on the, we're talking about having too much money after student loans, but I think one thing that we're overlooking is sometimes people don't ask for enough too. Sometimes people don't put into perspective, how much they spend on groceries. Groceries are expensive, or how much, your electric bill will be, in Texas, sometimes you got to turn the AC on. And so sometimes those variable expenses kind of alter the way people think when they apply for those loans. So that's why budgeting is so important. No matter what it is, no matter what aspect of financials it is, you always need to make sure you know how to budget, because I think that's the baseline to knowing where your money goes.
It is very much a foundation for a foundation to keep yourself on track for like any financial situation in your life. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to overcut you there.
You're all good. But yeah, so I guess we're kind of moving into some of our final notes here, but how do y'all make student loans last for a semester, or do y'all use student loans for other than like tuition? I know for myself, I use my student loans mainly for tuition. I use it for whatever bill I get from Tarleton, and then whatever I make at my job, I put that toward my other resources in life. And I'm grateful to have my parents' support on some of the other things like rent that I need help paying for.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like I said, I have my student loans, pay my rent, and that's about it. My rent and my school, of course, and then I try to pay for everything else. And sometimes if I get sick and I can't work or whatever, I dip my hand in a little bit and grab a little bit of money. But like I said, I budgeted it out at the beginning of the semester, so I know like where I'm at. And now that we're halfway through the semester, I can see now is like, okay, maybe we need to work a little bit more. That way we hit our goal. But other than that, books. I know books were expensive this year. I don't know about for y'all, but these last 2 semesters, books killed me.
Me too.
I've been pretty lucky. I don't think I've ever paid for maybe more than 4 textbooks at college right now.
Really? Yeah, no, I paid like $500 last semester alone in textbooks.
Yeah, I only bought a few books this semester, but they were expensive books. So I didn't use my student loans for that. I'm kind of in the same boat with y'all. My student loans tend to go to tuition and a little bit of rent if need be. And the rest is kind of hanging by the seat of my pants, hoping that my paychecks kind of work. And I am, like I said, lucky that my parents will support me if I need not completely, but a little bit if I need some help. But yeah, I'm in the same boat as y'all.
Do y'all have any parting thoughts for our listeners as we kind of wind down this student loan episode? I think my final thought would be, don't be scared of your student loans. Don't let them scare you. They're not going to hurt you as long as you take care of them.
They are an asset to you, especially if you're someone who needs them. They are a resource, not a negative thing, if you don't let them become that.
Yes.
Yep. Let your money work for you. Don't work against your money. So it's the same thing with student loans. Just like they were saying, you got to let it build that interest for you. You got to let it build that credit for you, and you got to use it to invest in yourself.
Well, there we go. Thank you, Bryson, for being on this week's episode.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
I hope everyone who's listening had a great spring break. I know we're about to go to spring break, so I hope y'all too have a grand time on spring break, resting, going to the beach, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kaiton. But yeah, well, thank you, listeners, for tuning in. And don't forget, Be well, be ready, be Texan Smart. See y'all later.
Bye, y'all.